that started. So I am sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see. All right, so basically what Liz is talking about is if you hover over this channel that we're in, the front-end web development channel, we're all sitting in here right now. If you click on this open chat, we have 3 icons: an open chat, a create invite, and an edit channel. Click on open chat and you should see, yep, Liz just posted right there. This is the chat, hello. If you are a member, you'll be able to see the chat. If not, you can just hang out, watch the screen, watch this code, that sort of thing. And then you said someone asked something in, looks like Sesame is adding something there. And then, okay, Arena is the
Oh,
other
maybe
new
she doesn't have
person.
access. Maybe that's why she's responding.
That's
Okay.
probably it. If you're looking at my screen and you're like, how do I get access? Just come up here to the server shop and everybody gets that week free trial. So feel free to just join and try it out before making a commitment. Cool, cool. All right, so basically what we're gonna do here first is I wanna come over to the GitHub and I want to explain how to get involved in this project without me having to add. So this is our project right now. We're currently working on the card design branch. At the end of the night, we're going to go ahead and hopefully merge the card design into the volunteer search. The volunteer search is the current feature that we're working on. Once we're done with this current feature, we'll make a pull request and merge it into the main branch, and then we'll move on to the next feature. So before, I was actually going to collaborators and teams, and I was adding people to the project just manually with the add people. So I'm not going to be doing that anymore. We have a ton of people, and I don't want to have to add people every single time that someone needs to be added. So there is a way to get involved if you're not added. So certain people, like long-term people who are here for like 6 months plus kind of thing, and they plan on working on features on their own. They plan on leading a small group on their own. They plan on just doing issues on their own, that sort of thing. Potentially they'll be added to the project as actual outside collaborators from me. But if not, this is what we're gonna do. So let me just zoom in a little bit. So if you're on GitHub, we're gonna have the O1 software network. Let me go ahead and post that in the chat for those who want access to it. Once you're on the O1 software network, click on repositories, and then you'll see Nonprofit Navigator. Once you're here, what you're gonna wanna do is before you do this, you need your own GitHub account. So if you don't have GitHub, just go ahead and create your account. It's free, and then you'll have a GitHub account. And then you'll come over here and you'll click fork. When you click fork, you're actually going to make a copy of this GitHub repo here, and it's gonna be pulled over into your GitHub. So you're gonna have a copy of this GitHub on your GitHub. At that point, let me go ahead and open up like a draw IO just to make this a little bit easier. I want to try to make this as clear as possible. And then I'll open it up for questions just to make sure everybody understands. So we have the O1 GitHub repo. And you have your personal GitHub repo. And so what you're going to do when you click the fork button, you're going to go to the repo that you want to fork. Like I said, over here, just come to the code base, O1 Software Network, Nonprofit Navigator, click fork, and it'll pull it over to your GitHub repo. And so, let's see. Do we have just regular arrow? Okay. So that GitHub repo will be pulled to your personal GitHub. Now, these are both remote. So this is in the cloud, this is in the cloud. What you need to do next is in your GitHub repo, not this one, you'll go to code. You'll copy this code and you will run git clone and then the name of the repo. And this will pull the code from your repo to, let's see if we have something more accurate. Yes. To your local computer. So then you'll have the code on your local computer. All right. Code. And that will be on your computer now. Now, when you're on your computer, you have forked it from the original repo, you brought it to yours, from yours, you ran this command, so you cloned it from your computer, from your GitHub repo to your computer. At this point, then you're gonna run a command called, let me go ahead and just, I'll run git branch A. So you can see right now I'm on the card design branch, but when you initially create this, you'll be on your main branch. So you'll be on your main branch, and what you want to do is you want to create a branch for you to modify and change the code. So you'll do git checkout B, and you'll create the name of new branch, whatever feature.
Jim, are you recording?
Yes.
Good.
Yep, yep. So you will create the name of your new branch. You will click enter, and then you'll move over to the branch that you want to do the changes on. I'm going to go ahead and just do git checkout card design, because this is the branch we're working on right now. So you can see if I do git branch A, which is all, we're now on the card design branch. Now I could go ahead, open up my code editor, start making changes. And when I'm done making my changes, what I want to do is I want to stage my changes. So if I do like a git status, you can see there have been no changes, so I don't have to do it now. But if I did make changes, I'll do git add dot to stage the changes, press enter. Then I'll do git commit -m and do a message like add functionality or style cards or whatever changes you made. So you'll go ahead and add that comment, go ahead, press enter, and you'll commit those changes and then do a git push. And when you do the git push, then the code that you modified on your computer will be pushed back up to your personal repo right here with the branch that you created. And then from your personal repo, you'll create a pull request with this original one here. So if, let's just say you're on your personal repo right here and you're on your card design branch, from the branch that you want to merge into the original project, you'll just go to pull requests, new pull request, you'll do card design and push it to card design. And I believe if you are pushing it from your repo, if you're making a pull request from your repo to the original repo, when you click over here, when you click create pull request, it's actually going to like form a connection with the original repo. So it'll do that automatically. Then if you ever run into any issues, just let me know. I'm actually planning to record an official video and add it to the YouTube just so everybody has access to this video moving forward. That's kind of why I'm just giving everybody a rundown right now, because I just explained it. So I'm going to open it up for questions just to make sure everybody understood or see like what people are having trouble understanding. And then I'm going to give it a couple days just to see who reaches out to me and for clarification and that sort of thing. That way I can really make sure the video I record is like complete and thorough. So what questions do you have?
when you push, are you doing git push origin something, or is git push enough?
If you have already created a connection to your GitHub repo, like if you've already set the upstream to your GitHub repo, then you'll just do git push. But if you haven't made that connection, like let's say you're on your local computer, let me pull up. If you're on your local computer and you create your branch and you haven't set the upstream, so your GitHub repo in the cloud does not know about the branch that you created yet, then you'll have to do git push -u. So it'll be, let me just. So if you've already set it, it'll be git push, just git push. And if you just recently created the branch and you haven't set the upstream yet, it will be origin and then name of branch, basically. But if you do git push and you haven't set the origin yet, then you're gonna get like a comment in the command line that says you have to set the origin. So it'll basically show you exactly what you need to type to connect it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Which YouTube channel is the right one?
I just posted it in the announcements channel. So if you scroll up to the community, just underneath community, we have the announcements channel. That's basically where I make all the announcements. And the channel is right there.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Okay, Jim, thanks for showing that to us, right?
Yes.
I've been looking at a few GitHub videos,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure that anybody who's new, who hasn't, first of all, if they're new, they're just beginning to learn HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And the GitHub stuff is going to be way over any person's head.
Yeah.
They're
If
gonna
you're
have
not,
to
yeah. If you're not,
learn from videos.
go ahead.
I've looked at videos and I know what you're saying, but I'm scared to death that if I do something, okay, this would be my question. There's no way for me to hurt the project, right?
No.
Like
No.
pulling stuff and pushing stuff.
No.
There's nothing I can do that would make like stuff disappear that you couldn't recover from.
No. No. If
Okay,
if
good.
that was
Then I'll-
possible, then that's my fault.
Okay, then I'll explain.
Yep.
If you're not sure about what command to use in Git, just Google it. Git has their entire book online for free, and the commands are all over the internet.
Yes, I like the way you think.
Thank you, and thank you for telling me that. I did realize it, but it's like every command for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is also on YouTube, and you could Google it. But that doesn't mean you'll be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so feel free to continue thinking of questions or asking questions while I pull up the Figma, the lo-fi wireframe that we have. So keep in mind we are not designers here. We're just doing the bare minimum to get the program up and running. So for those who are brand new, you want to just mute up, James, because I'm hearing background noise. So for those who are brand new, on the first week of the boot camp, we opened it up for discussion and we let everybody choose what project they wanted to work on. What they chose was a website that allowed people to easily find volunteer opportunities for nonprofit companies. Initially, we were going to pull in data from an API for nonprofit information, which is definitely within the scope of front end. but there was no real good APIs or free APIs with good information. We did find one API that was decent, but it didn't have the information we wanted. So that's going to be another feature where we actually let nonprofit companies enter their own information. For now, so we had a day where we just built some user stories as far as what sort of functionality we wanted in the website. And then based on that, we chose this user story to start working on first. So as a volunteer, I want to easily find volunteer opportunities so that I could find what services are offered. And we have our lo-fi wireframe. We sort of just pulled some ideas for layout from a couple other websites. We looked at more, but these were the ones we really liked, and then we formed something super basic. And so this was the original card format that we were interested in, and we ended up changing it to this yesterday. So this is going to be our card format. We're going to have an image that is standalone, separate. You're not actually going to be able to see the card, but when you hover over the bottom of the card, the image is going to just darken up a little bit, so you always know what card you're clicking. We have the title, we have location, we have the specializations of the nonprofit, we have a description, and we have the skills you'll gain. So we're going to be working on the styling here today, trying to get that perfect. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite everybody into my code editor and give everybody the opportunity to actually code along with us. Before I do that, let me just go ahead and go live so you could see what we have so far. This is just the mobile version of our website. Like you can see, the style is not where we want it. We just added enough styling to create the layout, and then our cards are starting to look decent, but that's what we're working on today. So we're going to be adding the styling to the cards today. Yeah, and hopefully at the end of this session here, they're just going to look a lot better. Let me just make sure we're on the correct branch. Yes, we are on the card design branch, and we'll work through this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just write down some to-dos in our styles.css, and then I will give everybody the opportunity to just start chipping away and typing some code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a live share link. I'm starting the collaboration session. For those who are new, this is a tool created by Microsoft that just allows you to hop into my code editor and code along with me. It's sort of like Google Docs. So same way that you hop into a Google Doc, I hop into a Google Doc. If you make changes, I can see them happening on my screen. If I make changes, you can see them happening on your screen. It's just a really great collaborative tool. So I will go ahead and post that link. And I'm also going to go ahead and I have a live server on port 5500. So if I ask you if you want to sign in through the browser or sign in through Visual Studio Code, I believe signing in through Visual Studio Code is going to allow you to open up this project in your own browser. But if you do it through the browser, I don't think you get that functionality. Though Ricky yesterday said that he just closed it and opened it back up and it was good to go. So let me just get the link. I'm going to go ahead and post it right in the chat. And I'll give everyone just a couple minutes to pop in. Does anyone have any questions?
Where would I have Visual Studio Code. Where would I go on the app to transfer basically the live share?
Are you saying the live server?
No, I'm under the impression that you can use the live share link and open up the application on the local machine.
Yes.
And be able to use it on the application as opposed to the browser.
Yes.
Is that possible, or am I?
Yeah, so I believe you get two pop-ups. When you click on the link, I believe it says, do you want to sign in through the browser or do you want to sign in through Visual Studio Code? When they ask that question, do sign in through Visual Studio Code.
Let me try now.
Yeah.
And it automatically takes me over to the browser version.
Huh. It might be something in your settings then. Yeah, my guess would be go to something in settings. we go to File, Preferences, Extensions, maybe? No. File, Preferences, Settings, and then we should have Live Share. Yeah. So there's some settings here.
Okay.
So open shared servers, controls whether to automatically open, controls whether web servers are automatically shared when started. Yeah, so there's like a ton of different settings here for live share. It's probably, you could see like, it's just like endless. There's so many options.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
Yeah, I
it's
was trying to
something
figure
there.
it out yesterday and the day before, but I couldn't figure out where it was because there's so much.
Yeah, that's interesting that it doesn't give you the option. Every time I've ever done it, so let me go here and you can like
Clicked
check.
on the link through the chat, it opened up the browser, and then a couple of seconds later it opened up, do you want to open this in Visual Studio Code? That's how it worked for me.
Yeah, sign in with VS Live Share to join a collaboration session. So sign in.
And then it asked if I wanted to install the Microsoft extension.
Weird.
Yeah, mine opened up automatically in the browser too. It didn't give me the option for Visual Studio Code, which, yeah, that's interesting because.
I wonder if it's
Can I
like
continue?
a first time login situation. Like, and if you just absentmindedly say browser, it doesn't pop up again. I feel like that's what I did.
Yeah, I think I had to I had to check a checkbox to do it always in Visual Studio Code. Do I have to sign in with VS Live Share to join the session, or like, do you have it locked down, or can I continue as anonymous?
No, I think you're in here as guest, right? Is that you?
I haven't done anything. It says I have the option to continue as anonymous.
Oh, yeah, you could continue as anonymous. You'll just come in as guest, or you could sign in. Then your name will show up.
I don't know that I have a Live Share account, so.
No,
Oh,
you don't. You
well,
don't need a
fine.
live share account. I believe it'll use your
GitHub.
GitHub, yeah.
Okay. There
Yep.
we go.
So, all right, and then it looks like I think the only one who's not in here is I think James is in here. So just Arena and Sesame, I'm guessing. Feel free to just hang out and watch along. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to just ask them in the ask for help, or just send me a message directly to someone might have. Okay. We'll check that later. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Figma. And we'll start writing down some to-dos for what actually has to happen here. So if you look at our Figma versus the cards that we have right now, what needs to happen? I'm gonna ask y'all, and I'm gonna try to make it so we could see them all at the same time. Go with that. That. And then, actually, that, and then that. All right, cool. So, all right, so what do we have to do? This is the card that we have right now. This is the design that we're looking for. So what changes do we have to make to to our card. I'll give you all a minute to think about it if you would like. And then I'll start calling on people.
I can see with the, I guess I'm gonna call them categories. We've got to separate those out. And give them a little background.
So you're talking about the mental health and the crisis hotline?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like navigation styling, main section, home page, volunteer. All right, so I'll go ahead and add comments here. Because this is where we're actually going to be adding our styles. So when it comes to our, we'll just call these focuses. Evenco, what's going on? So for our focus, what do we have to do?
In layman's terms,
Yep.
separate them, put them side by side.
Okay.
Give them a bit of a container, or if they're already in a container, around those corners. Give them a background.
Display them in line.
Yeah.
Give them a background color. And let me see if I could just find what this color is to make that easy. Yes, here we are. There we go. So that's the color that they need. What else?
Just actually a question maybe that comes off of this. Are we already operating with like a certain Google font or anything?
No, we haven't chosen a font yet.
Okay.
I believe we're just using Arial for the entire project for right now.
Okay.
Body.
Those look like they're bolded.
These ones, yes, they are. Yep.
Are you using, I don't want to sound obnoxious, are you using like Flex or Grid?
Yes, we will be. I believe the font weight, we could just say font weight of 700 for now. Yes, we are using whatever is required. So do you think that we need Flex here?
I think that if we're going to make it responsive, that it should be Flex.
All right, so we'll say display them in line with Flex. Cool. All right, what else? What else? Let's just focus on these specializations for right now. So like, right, you could see on the cards that we have, they do have bullet points. So I'm gonna say eliminate list style. So get rid of the bullet points basically. What else? That's gonna make it look pretty good. I'd say the only other thing is make font smaller. Let's just say 12 pixel to begin with.
You need a box radius.
Hmm?
You need a radius on the bounces.
A radius? Yes.
We want it
Nice.
around the corners.
Yes. Add border radius. We could say, what we'll start with, we'll just say 5 pixels just to make it clear for whoever's working on that. Let's find out what this class name is. So let me go over to the JavaScript and just check out. If you look at render volunteer list, render card. So our main focus, so we have volunteer card, main focus. So I'll go ahead and just put that. So whoever's working on that actually has the class name as well. All right. What else? That'll be good. I think that's good. It probably need a little padding. So let's just say 3 to 5 pixel
Want the
padding. Whatever looks better. What's up?
Won't the flex do that?
Add padding to the individual boxes.
Okay. The flex will do it, the boxes, not the inside boxes.
Yes, it'll add some space to the container. As far as like left and right, yeah. All right. So besides those, we have actually the suicide hotline title looks pretty spot on. I'd say maybe a little bit bigger, but all right. What else? So we have the volunteer card main focus. What else do we need? Need to edit. Parker, what else do we need to edit here? Looking at our current cards versus our design.
Let's see, I'm looking at it. Wait. As far as we're just doing the styling, right? So we need to have the margins, boardings, and padding, and some bold and nonprofit, communication, skills, okay, Rocky Hill. Yeah, right now they're in bolded lists. The mental health and crisis hotline. So we need to separate those out.
Okay. How about just looking at the card without looking at the content inside of the card, but just looking at the card in general? What do we need to do?
Is the question more like just the layout?
Layout, style, border.
Okay, so we need like 2 columns.
2 columns.
Yeah, like the mental health on the left, crisis hotline on the right.
Yes, yes. So it looks like we're going to have an unordered list, which we could consider the container, right? We could consider the container, and I believe we could just apply flexbox to this, and they should spread out in a row. And with flex wrap, they should just wrap around, I believe. So that's good. As far as these here, we should be good with the current styles we have. So like these should be good for that. What about the title? Do we have to make any changes to the title? If so, what?
Well, when you hover it, looks like a hyperlink, but then there's probably nothing on the card to the right.
Oh, that's on everything. I hover over there.
Oh, never mind. That's just Figma. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Did we choose like the font type, like the font we're choosing?
No, we're just going with Arial for now.
Okay.
So does the hotline looks good then? Just this right here,
I think
size
so.
wise.
It looks a little bigger, like what, 1 point bigger, 14, 15 point, whatever it is.
Here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and we have our volunteer card name. And we will go ahead and increase size to, let's just say 24 pixels for now. We'll probably go with REM later, but we'll go with pixels for now. And then what about the location? Bigger, smaller?
It looks smaller.
It's kind of like Suicide Hotline's like a heading 3 and Rocky Hill's like a heading 4, something like that.
Okay, so I'll take volunteer location. Oops. And we'll say font size of 12 pixels. We got make font smaller. So it looks like it's about the same size as these right here, so we could go ahead and just do that for now. And then I think we could probably even make it a little more bold, so we could do like font weight of 500, 600, whatever looks most accurate. And then skills you'll gain. This is way smaller. Let me go ahead and just get skills. Skills you'll gain. I believe Angel did this one yesterday. So volunteer card skills. And all right, so what changes do we have to make to this down here compared to what we're seeing here?
Other than reduce font size, I'm not really sure
Yep.
anything.
So font size of, we could just say 10 pixels or 12 pixels, whatever looks good. All right, so how about if we look at our volunteer card, just like the overall card. I'll put that up here since that comes first. There's a few things that have to happen with this, right? Like if you look at the card, well, in ours, you could actually see the card right now, right? What about in this one?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going for that look, we have to take out whatever shadows around the box.
Remove box shadow.
Yeah.
All
From
right.
an image, also looks like there's a shadow. I'm trying to decipher what's my eyes and what's real.
On the image. Oh, that's a good point. We have the image too. Let me
Yeah.
see. We're just calling this one volunteer card image. So
There's no border that's got a border around the entire card. Plus the shadow, I think.
are you talking about the border radius?
I'm talking about the entire card on the right. I'm not. Ours is on the left, right? And we're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is on the left,
information up.
and what's our real thing right now is on the right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's on the right has a border around the entire card, plus a shadow on the top and the right. It looks like to me.
Yeah, we have a shadow around the whole thing, so we'll remove the box shadow. And then I already said this, so we'll say border radius 5 to 10 pixels, whatever looks best. And then, yeah, I mean, this looks, I know T here? No, T was saying that she wants to add a border color to the entire section. She thinks that'll make that look better. But all right, cool. So we have enough to get started and just have people chipping away. So people who are newer are going to let me where is the all right, so people who are newer, go ahead and just grab like one of these small ones, you know, like someone maybe with more experience, or like 2 or 3 people can kind of chip away at this here. So who's in here right now? We have Javier, James, Liz, Javier's clone, Ivenko, Sebastian. So feel free to see the way that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Jim. So I'm going to do this one. So go ahead and just add your name right now to the one you want to do. And I'll go ahead and clean up these other classes for the ones that just don't exist anymore. We do have header. Let let me go ahead and take all of this and just give me 1 second. So we'll start it down here since nothing above has to do with the card. It's only stuff below. So, all right, cool. So we got Liz doing the volunteer card. You're going to remove the box shadow. Parker's going to be working on the location. Ivenko's going to work on the font size for the volunteer card. Who wants to do, so we have Javier and we have Sebastian. So we still have the volunteer card main focus. So these here. The unordered list with the list items. And then we have volunteer image. So the actual image, which is pretty simple. Just a border radius modification. And if you don't know how to do something, literally these comments that I left, this is all you need. Go and say, how do I give, so with any of these, how do I give an HTML element a border radius of 5 pixels? How do I eliminate the list style from a list in HTML? How do I increase the size of an HTML element? Increase the font size to 24 pixels. Then you're gonna get the answer. So just type it into a Google Chat, type it into ChatGPT or one of those, and the answer is right there. So for people who are like, I don't know what to pick, I don't know. The whole point of these events right here is to type some code and make some mistakes, especially if you're newer. So just get your hands dirty, type some code. You're gonna get some stuff right. You're gonna make some mistakes. You're good. So Liz, I see you adding the selectors up here. If you check down here, we already have a volunteer card.
Oh, JK.
All right, were you taking notes?
No. I was like, are we just doing it in the commented stuff?
Nah, we got all of our, sorry.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, we have all this stuff down here is where we're gonna be adding the styles. So basically from line 145 to 184 is where we're going to be adding the styles. And let's just say that you have like the skills, volunteer card skills. Okay, that one actually exists. Let's say you have the volunteer card main focus. That doesn't exist here yet. Go ahead and just create it. And you could create it just by copying the selector. Same way that you see the selectors down here. And if you have any questions, let me know.
I'm having a little bit of a problem with loading up. Apparently, I'm still trying to get the website to go up right now, and I'm still in the HTML part.
Okay, no worries. You're good. When it loads up, just go ahead and do your thing. So I have content, description, volunteer card, name. So that's mine.
I mean, so realistically, all I'd have to do is delete that attribute, right? And then there's no box shadow.
Yeah, you literally did it already, I think, right?
Well, I just said none, but like I don't even have to say none. I can just take that out entirely.
Yeah. It looks good. Cool. Let me see. The image has. So who's working on the? Liz, you already finished the volunteer card, right?
Yeah, I was gonna jump down and do the flex.
All right, so I'll go ahead and delete that. I did this, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Parker's doing location. How's that coming? If the font weight of 500 isn't working, you might want to increase it. There you go, nice. Let's see. Vinco's got the skills. Okay. Yeah, so if you complete it and it looks good, feel free to just go ahead and cut it right out.
I forgot to say, just you're giving us the task, the instruction, you do this, and then we're already doing it, and then we're already seeing the results. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah, it's not taking an hour. It's not like over email and a phone call. It's done.
Yeah, and it's starting to look pretty good too. So I will go ahead and I'll start working on the main focus too with whoever's doing this. I think Liz is doing this too. So
Yeah, I keep trying to like type and then the screen moves up and someone else scrolls. That's so weird.
you must be attached. Like, yeah, you follow someone
I was
else's.
trying to figure out how to not be following somebody.
Yeah, there's a setting in here somewhere. I forgot.
Oh.
Focus participants. Yeah, see up at the top where I'm clicking right now. There's a button called focus participant. Yeah, focus your attention. Yeah, all right. I see everyone focusing their attention. I think you could
Oh, I see where you are.
unfollow participant. Yeah, or Control Alt F.
Yeah, there's a pin. Unpin the pin.
Got it.
Nice, nice. Cool, this is looking good. The image needs a border radius. I'll go ahead and add that. There we go. Give it a little more.
It's not how it works. It's not weight.
Nice, nice. Looking good, looking good. Cool.
I think 12 looks better.
12 for what?
The size of the font.
Yep, for which one?
It's the volunteer skills.
Is that what it's set at right now?
Yeah, I'm setting it right now.
Alright, let's see what it looks like. Volunteer skills. Main focus. We'll put, I'm just gonna put main focus underneath the location, I think. So we have the name, then we have the location. So let me take the location, just put it underneath name, and then you want to go ahead and put the focus right here, just underneath the location. Cool, cool. So if you look at, I think he added, yeah, so whoever's doing skills, who's doing the skills?
I am.
Okay, so you only want the span to be bold. You want the skills to be unbold. So we have This is the class of the skills. We want the label to be bold. Oh, you already have the label. How come everything is bold then? Let me change this.
It might have been the font weight, no?
Font
The main
weight.
focus. Does the main focus change everything?
No, I don't think so. Font weight is actually going to be a number representation. You could get more precision that way. Cool, cool. That's looking good. Oh, okay, cool. Yep, the bold is gone. Let's see how this looks compared to our Figma. All right. So someone added some margin to this. I think we want everything to be a little closer to the edge, or maybe some padding. Not positive. Rocky Hill, the location might need to be a little more bold. And then let me see if there's a name, image, height, width, volunteer card, margin. Okay. Can't see that anyways. Volunteer card content. All right, I'm just gonna cut that margin out. There we go. All right, looking good, looking good. So these are the only ones we have left, right? Volunteer card image, border radius, I did that one. Volunteer card location, Parker, you did that one. I think we need to make the font weight a little bit bigger on that if you compare it to our Figma. That looks good though. I feel like that looks better than the design. Alright. And then we have, let's look at the description size. So the description, who did the description size? Who did the description, I mean? Looks like volunteer card description. There's some unneeded styles here. What are these? Font size small, 0.8 rem. I'm gonna go ahead and create another one that's even smaller, extra small. Volunteer card description. I think it should be even smaller though, honestly. Font size is not changing on the volunteer card description. Let's go make sure that the class is correct. working. Let's
Looks
see.
like it changed a little.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be. Yeah, it's not. Probably this here. Yeah. Whoa.
There you go.
There we go. Cool, cool.
The skills is supposed to be smaller too.
Yeah, way smaller. So if you look at the, all right, so we're gonna want some font weight on the description with just a little padding on the top, maybe 5 pixels padding. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some comments here. Volunteer card, description. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to increase. Feel free to grab these tasks.
I'm wondering how we
weight.
make this responsive.
We'll worry about that later. Don't worry. We're just doing all mobile for now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Increase the font weight and add a padding to the top and bottom. We'll say 5 pixels. That's a good thought, though. I like that. Who was that, Jan?
That was, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. We're gonna get there. Don't worry. All right, and then skills you'll gain. For some reason, it's bold again. The whole thing. Font weight. Evenco, I'm gonna take this font weight and add it just to the label. There we go. And then, do you want to font? So it's not font size. It's something else. But if you check out the other selectors, you'll see what it is. What's going on, Harold? Anyone new joining? Cool, cool. Does anyone know? So Ivinko's working down here on line 164 to 167. He's trying to figure out the font. Does anyone want to share anything with him here?
You gotta do font size.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's. Oh, sorry. No, it's on. Okay. Yeah, I just want to see if it's better with 12 or 10, and just work with that.
But it's gotta say font size.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was just font. Okay.
There you go. All right, so that looks good. Yeah, I think that'll be good. We'll just make the description just a little bit bigger. And then I think the letter spacing.
Does the description, oh my goodness.
Ooh. Yeah, that doesn't.
Is the description supposed to be a little bit smaller yet too?
The description.
Yeah. I look at the other one.
Let's see. Yes, a little bit smaller. I'm just playing around with stuff though. Yeah, so we have our description. Everything's looking pretty good. Like, we're almost done with this. There's one thing that's standing out to me though, as far as the focuses. They're connected for some reason. There's no space in between them. So, anyone have any thought on that?
Would it be padding that does it or no?
Let's see. So we
Might
are
be-
looking
It's either
at
padding or margin.
skills needs to be addressed. Yes, correct. So we have our, well, let's see.
I
Or
always
it's
throw
not,
spaghetti
it's
at a wall
actually,
with padding and margin.
it's actually main focus, right? So we have, let's go ahead and put this in the correct position. So I'm just going to move this right underneath location. All right. So we have our main focus, but we have, if you look here, we have an unordered list, which is our main focus. And then we have a list item for each one.
Oh.
And so,
We didn't. We were gonna put them in a flex container.
yes, she did.
So we have to style the
Display
items
flex.
individually.
So you have
Flex
display
row.
flex row. I don't think you need this. I think it,
Yeah, inline flex will do the same thing, I think, right?
yeah. Font weight looks good. Font size looks good. Border radius. All right, so the border radius, do you want this on the unordered list or do you want this on each individual list item?
Probably better to put it on the items.
Perfect, yep. So go ahead and move the border radius to the list item. And then also the background color, do you want on each individual list item or do you want on the entire list?
You want an item.
All right, so let's, all right. So now we can see that they're separated. And then, so it looks
Now
like we lost the padding.
We want the padding.
So
on
yeah,
the
we should have styled the item versus the focus, right?
Yep, yep. Cool. All right, cool. So that looks more accurate. I'd say the border radius needs a little bit more of a curve. Well, let's look at the design. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And then we just need to, how do we space these out? So how do we, I'm trying to ask it in a way that a search is easy. How do we add space in between Flexbox items? That's a good search. And whoever finds it first, just let us know. Add space between Flexbox items.
Space dash between.
Say what?
Space dash between. Except, do we want it space dash between, or do we want it center, or space around?
So there's a
Space
couple.
evenly.
There's a couple different options. You could try them out and see which one looks more like the design. But what's the actual property name? So space between.
So
space
justify
Justify
content.
content.
There you go.
Nope.
And do you place
Nice.
that? Do you place that on the container or on the actual item?
The entire container.
Try it out. All right. So it looks like it's that space between.
Should we try the other ones?
Try it out.
Yeah.
That looks a little too spread out.
Or center. I think it's just center.
Yep, just center. All right. You tried space between. Is there another space one?
Space
You can
evenly.
try.
There's a space evenly.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Try space around. See what that looks like too. Okay. So space evenly seems to be a little closer together. Space around is pretty close as well. Whatever you guys think is best. Cool. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. So that's only being applied to this one here. All right. So it's squeezing them into this container. How do we get them? How do we get them to wrap around if there's not enough space instead of squishing them together?
Is it flex wrap?
Yes, sir. Try it out.
My bad. I jumped on it.
Is it still doing main focus, or is it alter card? Which one?
The actual container, or
I don't know. Let's see, where am I?
Okay.
Weren't there 6 of them there a minute ago, though?
No. Some of them had 3, some of them had 2.
Okay.
And then we just have a problem with the spacing. So, what do you think we could do to solve this?
And add a gap between, like a flex gap.
Say that again?
Want a margin?
I was saying we can add a gap in the.
All right, go ahead. Do it up. Gap is similar to margin, for those who are wondering. Yeah, yeah. There you go.
I don't know if that's too big of a gap. I don't know how much you guys are looking for.
Yeah, we could probably cut it down just a little bit.
Like 10 pixels.
Yeah, half a rand, 0.8. Try out a couple different things, whatever you like best.
Okay, pixels.
There we go. So, all right. So I would just change one thing, honestly, with these here. I would say that if anything, we justify them left and we add some margin to the right, and then just that way they're aligned to the left. I feel like that would look a little bit better, but let's try it out and see what everybody else thinks. So let's go ahead and comment this out for right now. We do have a little bit of gap with the 8 pixel here, so yeah, what do you all think? So this is one option, and then this is another option.
With the gap looks more professional.
Yeah, definitely with the gap. I'm saying, do you think that we should do space evenly, or do you think that we should do just let them align left?
I kind of like the align left.
yeah,
Line
visually
left.
it looks cleaner.
Yeah, same. Because all the gaps are the same size as well this way. So, boom. And then you could even, oh. Oops. Sorry about that. And then, yeah, and then you could try out a couple different sizes for the gaps too. 10, 8, 8 look good. Cool. So that looks good. That looks decent. It's starting to look like our actual design here. So the only thing is we would left align them there. And yeah. All right, so now looking at the original design we came up with yesterday versus the cards that we have now, what changes do we need to make? Do you see any other changes that need to be made?
Let me just ask the clarifying question. Is this gray background just Figma, or is that our goal?
The gray background is just Figma.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, so we could change.
The description and skills are still smaller on what you designed yesterday versus what we're working on now.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay too. I'm thinking about it like this is a kind of bigger screen too, but when you
Yeah.
actually look at it on a mobile phone, it's going to look a lot smaller. So we'll probably be making some modifications later on as well. So let's go ahead and we have.
By any chance, are we using the percentage to make sure that order shape of the works well?
You're breaking up. I can't really hear you.
Oh, are we gonna use the pictures don't warp?
Say that again.
The pictures don't warp.
I don't. What do you mean?
Because if you have it on full screen, the pictures tend to warp according to the size of the actual.
Oh yeah. We're not even thinking about desktop right now. We're just focused 100% on mobile for now. We're gonna be thinking about tablets and desktop sooner than later, though, for sure. Good question.
I don't know if it matters. Scroll up to the top.
Yes.
In what you designed, the keyword and location are centered
Yes.
and different sized and are pre-populated with descriptors. So you know what goes into each of those boxes?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying like put some placeholders or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. We could do that.
And the search button is larger, which on a small screen, a little bit larger button is easier to press.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to spend a whole day focused on the search. Actually, way more than a day, because we're going to be building some actual search functionality into this site. So yeah, definitely. But as far as these cards go, any other comments on this? I mean, this looks pretty good. There is one thing that I do want to add. So if you look at when we go ahead and we hover over these here, like when I hover over, let me just go ahead and do like inspect and pull up the elements. Oops. So when I look at each one of the cards, so you can see this card, the card in blue. Basically, when I hover over anything in this card, any of the blue section, what I want to happen is I want the image to darken, just so you know. So even if you're clicking down here, even if you're hovering down in this area down here, you still want the image to darken just for some interactivity. Not only that, when we hover over the card, down here, up here, no matter what, not only do we want the image to darken, but we also want a pointer. So instead of seeing the cursor that we see right now, we need a pointer. So we'll go ahead and we'll do the hover effect tomorrow, because it's going to take I'm going to ask a ton of questions from you guys, and there's kind of a couple different ways to go about it. I'm going to have a few people look and try to figure out a way to do it in CSS. I'm going to have another few people try to figure out how to do it in JavaScript, and then we're going to come back together and we're going to discuss which is the quote unquote the way to do it, depending on what the teams find. But for now, let's go ahead and just make one more quick modification. Does someone want to go ahead and convert this cursor into a pointer when you hover over the card? So we are right here, volunteer card. There's one property and value. There you go. All right, there we go. Now we have a pointer, so it's a little bit more obvious when we're actually hovering over the card. Cool. Cool, cool. All right, let me go ahead and do a pull request or do a commit just so everyone can see how it's done. That's starting to look good. I do think there's a little bit of space, too much space in between. So let's go ahead and just say, let's give that a little 10. It's gonna be 10 on the top, 80, 400. Volunteer image. That looks good. Volunteer content. So that's got a little margin as well. Display, volunteer name, volunteer location, main focus item. Then we have our description. And we have our skills, which are all font size, and then just the label. So let's just go ahead and put the label before. Actually, that makes sense, since the skills contains everything, and then the label is just the first part, and then we have a second part. All right, cool. Border on each card, we'll remove that. And we'll remove the rest of these. Description. Oops. Cool. All right, so that CSS looks pretty good. That's looking good. Anyone have any questions or comments before we go ahead and move forward?
Nothing for me.
Cool, cool. Awesome.
Is there accessibility on?
Say that again.
Is there accessibility on mobile? But the change point, and I know on like desktop, laptop, one of the things that you think about is also when you're tabbing through to change to highlight and underline things for accessibility purposes, mobile or tablet as well.
Yes, so we haven't given too much thought to accessibility, but we're definitely going to spend some time with that for sure, so you can tap through properly. You have a lot of good questions. I love it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just check out the status. I'm going to go ahead and do a git commit. So you can see if I do a git status, that's the command I just ran. You're going to see that we have a couple files that were modified, mostly styles.css. We also have main.js, which was modified just a little bit as far as the classes go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add both of these files with git add dot. And then I'm going to commit and say add style to card. Simple enough. Check the status. Now everything is ahead of schedule, and we'll go ahead and we'll do a git push. So we'll go ahead and push this to the GitHub repository, and if we check out the GitHub repository now, you can see that we had some pushes less than a minute ago. So we have we do have one more change that we need to make to this right here. We have the hover just to make it more obvious, but I will go ahead and merge this now. So I'm going to merge the card design branch in with the volunteer search branch. Designed card in Figma. then worked as a group to style the card. Still have to add hover effect. We would go ahead and add the hover effect tonight, but I think it's just more towards the introductory, and I want to start transitioning more into the intermediate level stuff now. Though we're just gonna tie some loose ends as far as the template literal go, and just inject some JavaScript into those strings for now, so that we're actually rendering the correct stuff when we click on these cards. So still have to add hover effect to cards, so users know when they're hovering over which card. Card design, volunteer search. Cool. I'll go ahead and merge that. We'll go ahead and delete the branch. So if I come back to here, you can see I'm still in my card design. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do git checkout and move over to volunteer search. And then I'm going to do git branch delete card design for now. So if you check out all the branches we have, now our card design is gone. And we'll go ahead and we'll create another branch for actually injecting the JavaScript into our template literal. So I'll go over the code in just a minute. But let me go ahead and, what's the command to create a branch? Called insert JavaScript into, I guess we're gonna insert JavaScript into our volunteer details page. So we could call it like insert JS details or whatever you want to call it. What does anyone have an idea of what the command is gonna be?
Git checkout -b and then whatever name you want for the branch.
Perfect. So git checkout -b and then we'll call it
Gene, before you press return, I have a question.
yes.
Because from the web browser, from GitHub, you merge some new code into this branch, but from the command line, you only checked out the branch where you merge without pulling. Do you already have locally those changes?
Oh, so you're saying that we should pull the updated code from GitHub before creating a new branch?
I'm asking. No, I'm not saying. I'm asking. Or unless as soon as you check out, you get those changes. I don't know.
No, that's a really good point. The changes are not made automatically, so that's a really nice catch. So do a git pull. Let's see how this changes our volunteer. We're on the volunteer search, and you can see that 65 new lines of code for the main and 57 new lines for the styles.css. A nice catch on Ricky's part.
And the reason why I code it, it's totally random, because as soon as you switch branches, because we are on a live share, I can see the code suddenly disappear as soon as you switch this branch. So I wonder, where did it go? I saw you merging. Yeah, you didn't see it because now you pulled, but because we have VS Code open, all the new code suddenly disappeared as soon as you switch to this new branch. That's why I noticed.
Yeah, so you're like, where'd the code go? Something's up here. Nice catch, nice catch. So git checkout B, we'll call it insert JS details. For now, that'll be good. So now if we check what branch we're on, you can see we're on the insert JS details. So we're gonna go ahead where this should be pretty quick. And then we'll go over and we'll switch over to the MVC model that we were talking about yesterday. Just talk a little bit more about architecture. I do have another project with the MVC architecture injected because I think it was Ricky yesterday. You asked a question about like why did we use static methods for the model, right? Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I looked into that a little bit, and just looking at the code, it seemed that the model class. We'll go into it in a little bit. Yeah, we'll go into it a little bit after we finish up this feature. But basically, it seemed like the view class was dependent on properties that existed within an instance of the class. So you actually had to create an instance to access those properties, because you're going to be using the properties, modifying the properties, that sort of thing. Whereas with the model, there were no properties. There's no fields on the model class, and so you just don't have to create an instance.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're able to just call the methods automatically. Like the model class is more of like a utility class that you never have to create an instance of. Yeah, so I looked into that a little bit. It made a little bit more sense. But the reason why I want to share another project with model view controller is because I have another one that has a model and the controller, and neither of them are classes. They're both just like files with functions in them. So, I mean, it depends on how you want to go about doing it, but there's different ways to do it. But I want to go over the MVC, the notes one that we were looking at tonight, again, just so everybody could become a little bit more familiar with it. And then in the next couple days, I'm going to introduce everybody to this other one that's just still model view controller, but just done differently. So we'll figure out exactly how we want to move forward with our application, what everyone thinks is best. But I'll give everyone an opportunity to see the MVC architecture done in a couple different ways before moving forward with that. So I believe we're on the correct branch now. Yes, cool. So now we're gonna get out of the styles.css. We're gonna go to main.js, and so basically this one's pretty simple actually. So I mean, pretty simple if you've been here the last week. We have a lot of repeat people. So basically what we did here was, let me start up here. So basically we start on this home page, right? We're on the home page, and when you click on this card here, you're actually going to render the volunteer list. So this is our volunteer list right here, and all this stuff, this div, this header right here is this volunteer header. We have our search, which is just this right here. And then we have our search results. And then within that div, we iterate over our volunteer list. So we iterate over this list right here. And for each one of these objects, we render a card. So you can see we map over volunteer list and we render a card for each one. And so we have our render card function here, and this is what we just styled. And so when you click on one of these cards, you can see that we take the volunteer opportunity that was passed in, and we create a data ID attribute on it called vol ID. And so if you look at our volunteer list, this has an ID of 0, this has an ID of 1, this has an ID of 2. And so we actually use that ID on this card. So when we click on this card, what happens is we execute this render volunteer details page. And so the first thing we do is we just figure out which volunteer card was clicked. We extract out the ID from that card. We iterate over our volunteer list, and we compare our ID against every other ID on the volunteer list. And once we find the one that matches, keeps jumping me to the top. Dev JFD, you're focusing my attention. Can you? I could probably change that. But basically, so we have our, we find which volunteer opportunity matches the ID of the card that we clicked, and then we're going to use this volunteer opportunity to actually inject the correct values, so that right now if you click on any one of these cards, it says the same thing for every single one of them. Skills, they're all mentoring, life coach, veteran care, all that. And so what we want to do is we want to see the actual values. And so right now you can see the only thing that we're seeing, like suicide hotline, own my puppy. So the only thing that's dynamic right now is volunteer name. So what we need to do is just go ahead and insert the correct properties into this template string right here. So we have let's see, this one actually needs to be changed to an image, right? We have skills. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna write some comments here, just some to-dos, that way everyone could enter something. So if we look at our Figma, you can see we have our header of volunteer opportunity. This is basically, I don't think we added that to our items actually. Like a tagline maybe, like some sort of tagline or something catchy. We could just leave that for now though, no sweat. So we have organization name, and it actually says organization name for clarification. Do we need that though? That's a good question. We do have, I would say no, because that's going to be pretty clear. So after the name, we have a paragraph. So this is basically our description. So we need someone to insert description. We have cause areas. So cause areas. Insert cause areas. This is going to require like a iteration, because our cause areas right now is just static. So you can see advocacy and human rights, community, immigrants and refugees, but we're actually going to have to iterate over our cause areas. So if you come back up to our data, you can see we have cause areas. It's actually an array. So we'll do vol.causeareas for each, or map. Then for each one of them, you'll look at the Figma. It looks like this is just going to be a string. So this is going to be a string that's joined with a comma and a space basically. When date hosted, so we'll inject the date hosted there. So let me go ahead and create that. Insert hosted date. Now let everybody just choose whatever one they want to do. Look at our Figma. Then we have the entire address. So to do insert address. We have skills. So right here, we'll basically iterate over the array that's in our volunteer object and print out all the skills. Insert skills. This is going to require iteration. This is also going to require iteration. So these are going to be a little more challenging. So if you're newer, I'd say choose one of the easier ones. All right, so we have skills, good for. Insert good for, which is just right here, the paragraph, and then insert requirements. again, this is going to require an iteration. So we have a couple that are going to require just a little bit extra JavaScript. It's not too difficult, but if you are newer, feel free to grab one of the ones that don't say iteration. So Ivanko, you already chose the one that you're going to do. Everybody else who's in here, looks like we got a good amount of people in here. Feel free to just type your name next to the one that you want to do, and then start chipping away. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But basically, I already did volunteer name, just so everyone can see what we're doing. This vol is the object. So if you come back up to the top, this object, we basically have access to one of these objects. So the object we have access to has an ID, a name, an image, location, date created, date hosted, a main array, mission, description, cause area, skills, good for, requirements. We got all of these. Actually, we need to create the image too. So that'll be a cool one. Insert image. All right, cool. So inserting is just basically, if I choose cause areas, for example, you're going to leave the header because we want this header just to notify everybody like, hey, this is the cause area section. But these actual items is what we're going to be iterating over. So you would delete this right here. You create your $sign with the curly braces, and then you would do vol.causeareas.map, and then for each one return either HTML or a string based on the Figma design. And for those who don't have access to the Figma design, I'm going to go ahead and share the link right now just so you have access to that. Let me know when you ask for permission to access it, because I'll have to go to my email and just accept you. And then, yeah, otherwise I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to keep the Figma up just so everyone can see kind of what we're looking for here. And then I will also keep this project open here. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Tomorrow we're going to add some styles to this as well, make it look a lot better. But we're almost done with this feature, to be honest with you. So after we're done with this entire feature and we merge it back into the main branch, then I would love for someone to like try to do the navigation feature or the footer feature just with, you know, like a team of 2 or 3 people. You know, that'd be really cool if you're able to do that.
Hey Jim. Hey everyone.
Hey.
Sorry I was a little late tonight. Oh, I'm never this late, but shit happens, you know?
Yeah, you're good.
Good to be here.
Good to have you here.
You made it.
What are we working on, I guess? Looks like we're doing Figma now or something.
No, we're injecting the JavaScript into our template literals right now.
Oh.
Just so the volunteer details page, so this page right here, actually reflects the.
Whoa, that looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Did I already put in my Figma from another account?
Oh yeah, there we go. I just approved you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's looking good, right? It's coming along.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if we can turn like the blue tabs where I don't know if you can make it less blue or a little like blended. I don't know. It looks good though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, we're gonna be iterating over this several times until we're satisfied with this feature. So, yeah, I just added the blue because in the Figma, I believe if you look at the image from the Figma. I took this blue from this image that we were using. So yeah, I mean, these could end up being just like a light gray or something that just goes with every image, you know,
Mhm.
something more generic.
So are we leaving that pattern, like the layout, the way that it is? Because it looks good.
Yeah, for
I
now.
mean, I think,
For now.
yeah, there's just gonna be like way more information. Oh, so then we're making the details part another page, right? Or something like that.
Yes.
There's descriptions and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right now we're injecting the JavaScript into the details page. And yeah, someone just added an image, so it looks like we're starting to get some custom information here. Cool, cool. Good job, good job. Yeah, if you want to hop into the code editor, I believe, oh, it looks like everybody selected one except for the insert skills. So I don't know if you want to give that one a shot, T.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot.
You'll just have to map over the skills array and return a skills.
I'm not sure how to approach the description.
Mm-hmm. All right, so insert description. So where is the description?
The description is in this area where it talks about the IDs, names, and pictures.
IDs, names, and pictures. Where?
In the volunteer list.
We are, so it's definitely going to be somewhere from line 293 to 339. I just highlighted it. Look at the Figma. Where do you see the description in this Figma? Where do you see the brief overview? A paragraph entered about a
Under
brief
experiences or
experiences?
Sorry, I just can't zoom in.
So you see the text that says header of volunteer opportunity?
Yeah.
All right, start up there and just work your way down each element until you find the one that says paragraph entered by the nonprofit organization about a brief overview.
Okay.
It's at the top. There you go. That's it right there. So find where the organization name is and where the cause areas is, and then the one you're supposed to be editing is in between this one and this one. So just at the top. You're only a couple elements down. If you look at the markup, you're literally just a couple elements down.
Okay.
At the top. So the same way you see this is a paragraph entered by the nonprofit organization about a brief overview, the element you're supposed to modify says that same thing in the code we're editing.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a question. So everyone's working on their own to-do.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Right now. Okay, because I don't see anyone typing. Or
I'm done with mine, and I don't think there's any more to dish out for you if you wanted to do one.
Insert.
You're on number.
I did the good 4.
What sorry, what number were you on? What line?
327.
All right, that was all right. Cool, you got that, Parker. So, Parker.
So see if there's someone else that hasn't done theirs. Yeah, we can find out.
Parker, do you want to work on the insert skills iteration with T?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Jim, quick question.
Yes.
About the address, the where location. Can I ignore the in Figma? There's a square that says map. Can I on the Figma design?
Oh
What
yeah,
was
yeah.
what?
The map is gonna be some. We're gonna actually connect to the Google Maps API later down the road. We're gonna use the location to show like a small map. So for now, yeah, you could add a div with
Create?
just a gray
Yeah.
background if you
Okay.
want. Just keep it simple. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Hey Jim, I got a quick question. So when I try to open, so with live server, I'm not getting the actual where we are. I'm getting like this picture with like I'm not getting like like the whole code like where we are. I'm getting actually like the document that I probably uh,
Hmm. You're clicking on live server
so
and it's just not
let
bringing
me
you to
take
the
a
right.
screenshot and share with. Let me take a screenshot.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Take a screenshot.
I only see J dot 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 for your name. What's your name?
So my name is Fisher. So but here's J code 99.
How do you spell it? Just so I don't forget.
J COD 99.
D99. I mean, what's your name though?
Fisher
Fisher?
with a dash like a
Like this?
yeah. Yes.
All right, cool. There. Now I can see. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. That's
All right. Yeah, that's correct. So if you click on volunteer, what happens?
hold on, let me see. Okay. All right. I see now. Thank you.
And then if you do right click and inspect, it'll bring you into a mobile view. That way you could see basically what we're looking at because we're just working on the mobile design right now. We're going to go ahead and add design for like tablets and for desktop later on.
Yes.
But if you do right click inspect and then on the bottom left it'll say toggle device toolbar, then you'll see the mobile.
Let me use Firefox.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna just switch this up a little bit, see what it looks like. Oh. We have an error. Keep going. Cool.
Doesn't look like it's updating.
Yeah, we actually have an error, so you're not going to see any updates right now until we fix this error. It's probably just some syntax error somewhere in here. We'll find it before we move forward. Volunteer skills, it looks perfect. All right, so go to the top T and just check out what the skills is actually made up of. So if you look at, let's just look at the first volunteer opportunity, the first object. If you look at skills, we have an array. And so what we want to do is we want to iterate over this array. And for each one of the skills, let's look at the Figma design. So skills, for each one of these skills, I guess we could technically, there's a couple different ways we could do this, but the way that it's set up is each one of the skills looks like a block level object. So it looks like they're displayed as blocks. So we're talking about like potentially a paragraph or a list. So you could just iterate and for each one of the skills create a paragraph and then join that array of paragraphs together, or you can do an unordered list and for each one of the skills create a list item. So there's a couple different ways you could do it. I guess thinking about it semantically and wanting to code it in a way that web crawlers just analyze the page correctly, I would create a list, but you could do it whatever way you want. Because, you know, we are going to improve this incrementally over time. And it's okay to make mistakes. So we do have our image. Yes. Is that the right place? We actually didn't add an image to the Figma design. So let's go ahead and just look at, where did we get that idea from? I think it was from this one. Yeah, so the image was just below. The image was actually just above the description.
Was that like the main image for the card?
Yeah.
So you're saying why did we do that?
No,
Or-
I was just saying because we didn't add an image to the volunteer details page in our Figma design, which is totally fine.
Isn't it the pink square with a cross inside?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
we
that-
did. Yep, okay. So that's just above everything. Yeah, you're right. So that would be, the
You want it
image
to
would
still be in its own div?
just above. Actually, I think we were thinking about something different for that. I think that the image up here was supposed to be some sort of banner that, I forgot exactly what the conversation was, but I mean, we could do a couple of different things. It depends on what everyone wants to do, but yeah, for now, if you want to go ahead and just add the image at the top, so we have an image, like something visual, eye-catching for whoever navigates to the page, just right above of the main H1. I think that makes sense for an image for sure. Because right now the image is where, like,
Oh, sorry, I just cut it.
no, you're good. It's just, it's like far down there though, you know. It's
Yeah.
a random spot, it seems like.
So still in its own div or no?
I mean, you're gonna be inside of the body. Let's see. So yeah,
Spread this image.
you could put it volunteer search details page ID. Yeah, we have a couple divs here where I'm like, what are these doing here? But yeah, that should be good for now. We'll reevaluate once we get this page loaded. All right. Cool.
Tim, would you mind going over like course areas one more time? Kind of, what am I supposed to do? I think I'm chewing rocks right here.
Oh, am I not able to change the square image over here?
No, not in Figma. You can't. No.
Okay. Never mind.
So.
I'm just confused on what I'm supposed to do for description in the insert.
So.
I'm supposed to,
Yeah. So right.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So the description. You're just looking on the Figma file where the description is. The description is just underneath the organization name. So if you come over to the code and you look at line 298, that's the name. So this line 298, that's the organization name. And so just beneath that is the description. So what you want to do is you want to inject the JavaScript into this paragraph right here. Inject the JavaScript into the paragraph on line 300. And you inject it by doing like basically what everyone else is doing here with the $, curly braces, and then the vol.description. So instead of like vol.name.
Oh, that's what it's called, vol.description.
Yes, yes.
I just was a little bit worried that I would change something and won't be able to recover it. That's pretty much all. Okay.
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
Nice. So it looks like Uvinco's done, Daniel, JF Code, Fisher. How are you doing with the cause areas? Let's see. So we have cause areas.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I think I have bit more than I can chew. But you say I'm gonna have to use a map for each method.
All right, so let me see. So we have cause areas. This is
Am I
basically.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post it in. So you want the code just underneath cause areas, right?
On the P element, right?
Yeah. So you have vol.cause areas. The value of this right here is this. So it is. I'm just gonna try to give you all the information you need to make this happen. So you have your cause areas. This is gonna give you access to this array. Now, the final result, what you need underneath this cause areas, if you look at the Figma, you can see cause areas, and the way that the final result is just a string. So you want your final result to look like this. Advocacy, community. So you just want, you want to turn this array into a string that looks like this. So do you have any idea how to convert an array like this into a string like this?
I think I did before, but I gotta have to do a little bit of search and see.
Do a Google search really quickly and just say, or ChatGPT, and say, how do I convert an array of strings into just one string? Or how do I join an array of strings into one string? You'll get the answer that way. They'll show you exactly how to do it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. So let's see how everyone else is doing. Let me know what you find too, Fisher. Insert hosted date. So hosted date when? So we have our hosted date. That was Harold. Looks correct. Insert address, Ricky. Paragraph. Location city, location state, location zip. Looks good. So that was done. Insert skills. So I think skills. Oh, here we are. So we're actually going to want to keep this header the same, but you're right about this. So, all right, so we have an unordered list. Basically, what you want to do is take this skills. So when you run this code right here, you're going to have access to this array. And Parker, pay attention to this too, because y'all will work on this together. So you have skills. So you'll have access to this array right here. What you want to do is you want to iterate over this array, which is this. in JavaScript form. And for each one of these, you want to create a list item. So you want to end up with an array that's like this. Skills. And social work. So you want to end up with an array that looks like this. And then since you're going to end up with an array like this that contains HTML elements, you're going to want to join these list items together after mapping over vol skills. What questions do you guys have about this here? So this is what the final version is going to look like, but basically the only thing you have to work with is vol skills. Vol skills is this array right here. Right now it's an array that contains strings. So you need to map over this array that contains strings, and for each one of the strings, you need to return a list item with the string inside of it. And then you're going to end up with an array with list items, and then you want to join this array together.
So I did a bit of a research on the arrays. Looks like we can only add 3, if I'm not mistaken.
3 what?
3 strings.
No, you could add as many as there are in the array.
Oh, okay. So lines 326 through 331 need to be in a string.
Yes, so this is what it's gonna look like at the end after you process this array correctly. But right now you could just cut those out. You need to use this array to inject list items inside of this unordered list. So like, oops, yeah, so those list items that were there, that's what it's gonna look like at the end after you process this array correctly. But right now, there's no list items in there. So you just have, you have the vol.skills array that looks like this. So line 321 and 322. Line 321 is the JavaScript expression that evaluates to that array. Line 322 is what that array looks like when it's evaluated, when the program evaluates it. So line 321 and 322 are the same exact thing. That's what you're starting with.
So it seems like we have to do both methods. Or, I don't know, it seems like, do we have to do one or the other? Is that what we're deciding?
Let me ask you this. Do a search with this too.
Okay.
How do I iterate over an array and return an array? Or can I iterate over an array and return an array? So like the for each method is not going to return an array. It's just going to modify it in place, or it's going to do something for every single one of them. There's another method that you have to use. So you have to.
Are we going to use map to transform each of the skill and use join, like .join, to concatenate each of them?
Exactly. So you have your skills array right here. You just need to map over that. So you could go ahead and just on line 321, go ahead and map over that.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, Jim,
Yes.
Are we still gonna do the next class over the data structures?
Yeah. So at 9 o'clock, we're gonna do some data structure algorithm stuff.
Okay.
Yep. You could actually map right from here. You don't have to store that in any variables, Parker.
Oh.
Yeah, so like right on line 321, you could do vol.skills.map and do it right there in place.
Then can I just do a dot map then?
Yeah, you just need to make sure you do it within the curly braces.
Oh, within, okay.
There you go. And then let's see what else we got here. Cause areas. So that's Fisher, right? Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, yep, yep.
That's-
Cool, cool. And then Liz, you're done with the image, right? And how you doing, Javier?
If he's tracking, I can't hear anything. I know
Yeah.
he's unmuted, but yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, cut out for a few.
You're good.
I'm not sure. I just tried to put in what I thought was correct, but no idea if it's right or wrong.
All right, so requirements is an array, and if you look at the Figma, we're looking for a list. We're looking for an unordered list. So I'm going to go ahead and help you with the requirements here. And Parker and T, if you want to go ahead and watch this, because this is almost exactly what you guys need to do as well. So if
Okay.
we need our H3 that says requirements, right? So
Okay.
we need this to say requirements, so that's going to say requirements. Then underneath the word requirements, we need to create a list. So this is actually our list. We have an unordered list, we have an opening, and we have a closing tag. So we could go ahead and delete this. And inside the unordered list, what we need to do is we need to take our requirements, we want to map over them, and for each requirement we want to return a list item with the requirement. Return a list item with the requirement, and then after this map function is over, we're going to end up with an array full of list items. And so we want to do a join. And that should be good. Yeah, so this will end up looking exactly like the static code looked before. It'll have a list, a bunch of list items. So for every requirement, let's go up to the top really quickly. If you look at the first object on line 24, we have a list of requirements. For each one of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we'll have a list item. So that loop that we did down here will actually return 6 list items inside of this unordered list tag. And yeah, that should be good. All right. Oh, we have a massive image. Liz, you still in here?
Yep.
If you want, are you working on something right now?
No, I was gonna actually, I just lost my place. Add the description as the alt, but that's not really that big of a deal. Go ahead.
We have this image right here. If you want to add a class to it, and then go to the styles.css and just make the width 100% so our image is like fits inside the mobile screen.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have a div right here, but I don't think.
Just one question. When you create the description and the volume, where is that defined?
Description in the volume, it's defined at the top of the file. So each volunteer opportunity has a description.
And volume?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, each volume object has a description.
Got it.
And then Jan, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in a minute.
I'm just kind of watching. This is all new to me.
Okay, cool.
I'm done some back end, very little front end.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you have any questions, just shout out.
I figure I'll just spend some time familiarizing myself with it tomorrow.
Cool. Awesome, sounds good. Yeah, if you have any questions or comments or anything, feel free to just shout out.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Would you mind taking a look at the cause areas and see? Tell me how it did.
Right here? Oh, here. All right, so let's see. We have our cause areas. So this is actually going to be replaced. That's just the static stuff. And then, all right, so you have a paragraph tag. Inside your paragraph tag, you want to, so you have your volunteer object, you have your cause areas array, and then you're mapping over the array. So for each cause area, you're going to return a paragraph. The paragraph is with the cause injected into the paragraph, and then you're joining the resulting array.
Like that?
Yes, that's, I believe it'll print the correctly. Let's see. Cause areas, advocacy, community. Yeah, so it's pretty much printing accurately, but I'm gonna go ahead and do something for you. So we could go ahead and just cut this whole map out and just join. Because if you have an array of strings,
yes, sir.
then you could just do join. And so whatever you place inside of this join, it's just going to connect all of the arrays into one string and place whatever's in the join in between each string. So let's see what this looks like. There you go, cause areas. So advocacy, community. And then one reason why you would want to use the map, if you wanted to add like advocacy and community, so that you could keep track of the actual string and then the index. And if the index is the last index, then you would put like you would concatenate an and to the end just so it displays correctly. But there's a bunch of different ways you could do it. This is smooth for now, and it's clear and succinct. So yeah, this is good.
All right.
Go ahead, just clean this up a little bit. Cool. All right, so it's starting to come together. So we have our image, we have our header, we have our name, description, cause areas, when, date hosted, where. So inside of our, we could actually place this inside of the where div, I guess, put it together. Then we have our address. So this is a block level, this is block level, and then we have this, and then this is going to be temporary placeholder for the map. Let's check that out. All right, so that's good.
I have a question for the map.
Yes.
Since we're on it now, are we going to revert that or map that? I guess map is not really the right word, but how can we make it a actual like Google, display, maps display? Like, is that out of the realm of what we're working on, or is that something else?
No, that's definitely within the scope of this project. So we are going to use the Google Maps API, and the Google Maps API will allow you to take the location from the volunteer opportunity and actually just like create a map and even create a pointer on the map. Yeah, so we're gonna do that.
So it looks like someone that wrote on the code, it says temporary placeholder. We want to definitely get that out, right? That looks like it's been written in there just to...
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want it?
Clean it up
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of...
I took it out. I'm not sure if... Yeah.
Nah, that's good. It's kind of obvious just looking at the gray map that, yeah, this is going to be... So we could go ahead and...
So when we were working on, or when you shared the yesterday's example of an API, do you have something? Are we going to sort of work on sharing something similar today, or are we just trying to like go through this first?
Yeah, we're just gonna finish this up. Once this is done, I think we got like 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna go back to the MVC, the model view controller we were looking at yesterday, and just, I know a couple people were doing a little bit of research and just analyzing it, so I'm curious on what everybody thinks so far after having a day to look through it. And then I'll continue to do my best to answer any questions that everybody else has. And then before you came in today, I said that I have another MVC project that I wanted to show because it's different. Where the project I showed yesterday, the model, the controller, and the view were all classes, whereas this project, just the view is a class. I think the view, the view is a class, and the model and the controller are just pure functions. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to see model, view, controller in a couple different ways before thinking about how to implement it into this project. So
cool.
Yeah. So we have, let me just go ahead, and if you look at our Figma, the map is on the right side, and then the where and address is on the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to say we have where. I'm going to cut out the address, and we'll go ahead and we'll just
So that's just for design purposes.
Yeah, I want to get the layout.
Hmm. Would it be fine if we could find a way to link our own address, like have the user find a way to put their address in and compare like how far it is, or they have to just click on the map and it'll take them to Google Maps. So then it would be that, so it would make them go to another page, right? Essentially, is that
No, 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 no.
no? Oh.
I mean,
Like,
you can technically open up a new page and like, yeah, there's a lot of things you could do
yeah.
with the Google Maps. So like, what do we want to do with it, and then
Okay.
implement it? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one of the.
but we'll get there when we get there. kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Got it.
For sure. There's a lot of stuff that we'll just be spending like a whole day doing that, you know. So
Sounds good. I did have so the skills. So I guess, just looking at the example or, yeah, do we want to put a section, or do we want to put sections onto the card? Or is this fine? Are we just making sure everything's there right now?
yeah, everything is looking good. So Liz just finished the image. We have header of volunteer opportunity. I'm gonna cut that out because that doesn't even make sense. I don't know why we had that. Let's go ahead and replace this with an H1, and then I think all the other H3s we could change into H2s for now. So yeah, this looks good. Like if you look at this, it looks pretty good so far. We're gonna go ahead and we have a couple errors just in the skills here. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that up for you. I'll break that down, what we're doing. So let me just do justify content space between for this. Space between. That should be good. Then the location should actually, yeah, okay, there we go. So the location, we have where, location, map on the right side. We're gonna give this whole div a little bit of margin. So based on this, you could see the image goes from all the way to the left to all the way to the right, and then all this content has a margin on the left and the right. So we'll go ahead and that is volunteer search details page. Let's see. So we have this opening div, another opening div, and then we just have a closing div. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, and we'll give this a class.
I think on 300 we're missing the actual street address. Or 301 now.
Hold on just 1 second. Alright, so now we have the proper divs. On what line? 300?
So 301, I think we should have vol.location.address, no?
Yes, so the actual street address too, yep. Yeah, address, city, state, zip. So you could put the address just above the other paragraph so that they're both block. If you want. That way the address is just above the city, state, and zip. And then, yeah. Alright, so what do we have? What else do we have? Skills, okay. So this is the last one. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out here. So it looks like you are mapping over the skills array. For each skill, you want to return a list item. And then, yeah. So this, you want to be a list item. And then you're just You're just joining, not with the comma.
So we don't need brackets.
Yes, you do. So right here,
Yeah, that's a
Right.
bracket.
right here, you want the opening list tag, and then at the end, you want the closing list tag, and then you're good to go. You should be good. And then, yeah, it looks good. Everything else looks good. So this is basically done. T, look at this one here. Like this. You want it to look exactly like this. So the list, the opening list tag, and then the closing list tag. See line 315 that I highlighted? There you go. Yeah, because for each skill, you want to return a list item. Make sure it's within the quotes, though. There you go. Cool, cool. And then we'll just close this off. Cool, that should be good. Let's see. All right, skills. It looks like we have an extra bracket in the beginning somewhere. All right. There we go. Good for group is on the same line. So let's see. Good for this. We want to actually just place inside the paragraph. And yeah, that should be good.
So the whole purpose of all these template literals is for do this programmatically? Is that one of the many reasons why?
Yes, yes, exactly. So it does look good. Yeah, so check this out now. Actually, it looks like we have an error here. Just there we go. Now everything should look good. All right, cool. Yeah, that looks good. We got the map. That's laid out correctly. Everything looks good. I don't see any typos. And now, so when we click on this one, this card right here, then we'll see all of this information. Communication, people skills, social work, this address right here, these requirements. But when you click on Own My Puppy, you see all Own Your Puppy information. When you click on this one, you see all this information. When you click on this one, you see all this information. So now the details page that's rendering is based on the ID, the object of the card that we clicked. So now we're seeing the proper page. American Red Cross. We go to the American Red Cross page.
So we're not going to further put spaces or sections or color or I don't know, containers, boxes there.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We're gonna style this page.
Oh, okay, we haven't done that yet. Got it.
Yeah, we just added the functionality today. So the same way that we actually need to style this home page too. That's just like not crazy priority. But when we click on this, you can see this is styled. This looks like good enough.
Yeah, that's like pretty much sort of done.
Yeah, yeah, this looks... We do need to add the hover effect, so the image needs to darken when you hover over it. But besides that, like, this is good. This is pretty much done. We still need to style, obviously, like the headline, the search, before the feature's done. But the same way we styled this card here, we're going to go ahead and style this page to make it look really good. And I think the one that we were using was this one here, right?
For the style?
For the
Yeah.
style, yeah.
Mhm. Like the pat, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so we were using something like this. Which, yeah, it'll look a lot better than the way it looks now. Right now, it just looks like really rigid, you know? But
Yeah, plain. Yeah, plain. Yeah.
it'll look a lot better. Yep.
Yo play yogurt, plain yogurt.
I know. Yeah, just really plain. But yeah, it's coming along. This is looking good. I'd say by next week we should be done with this feature. Like we should be able to merge this entire feature into the main branch, and then yeah, get started with the next feature. I think the next feature we should work on is giving nonprofit organizations the ability to enter their own information. That way we could even go ahead and just that way we don't have to use this dummy data anymore, you know, like this volunteer list. And we could start getting into like local storage and just some other features too. So yeah, a lot to do. I mean, with projects like this, they're never really done. You know what I'm saying? Like if people want this project to go on, it'll be here a year from now, 2 years from now, you know? So over the course of time, it's just going to become better and better, you know?
Yeah. I was just thinking about like the thing you showed us yesterday. Like the notes. Anyway.
Yeah, so
Carry
let me go ahead, and that's actually what I wanted to do next. So let me just I'll go ahead and yeah, that's gonna be really good. So we have
Yeah, I still wasn't. I don't think I'm able to pull up the notes. I mean, I was able to pull up the live share, but not the notes. I don't know.
Okay, these to-dos are done. All right, these are done. All right, cool. So this JavaScript file is looking chunky. Yeah, so I want to start extracting all of this into their own files and just increase the organization of this project. I would like to add Sass to this project eventually too, which is just a CSS framework that's gonna make managing the CSS easier too, but I mean, it's not too crazy right now. When we start getting to other features though, it's gonna start getting a lot more difficult to manage. So let me go ahead and see, we are on Git branch A. We're on insert JS details. That is complete. So I'm going to go ahead and do git add dot. How do I commit this? Who knows the command? Git what?
Commit or get -m commit and then parentheses whatever, like, yeah.
All right.
Is it not? No, parentheses, quotations. Yeah.
All right. Git push. Oh no. Cool. All right.
What happened? The current branch has no upstream branch to push.
Yeah. So I just didn't connect the local repository to the remote repository, and so it just didn't know that this local branch existed. So I had to set the upstream, and I did that by just running git push -u origin and then the name of the branch. So now we're on nonprofit navigator, insert JS details, compare and pull request. So we'll go ahead and we will push those to volunteer search, so everybody has an updated copy of the code. And so before we got started today, I went over just forking the project and how to contribute and how to get involved without me actually having to add you as a contributor, because there's just so many people joining so quick that I can't add everybody as a contributor. So if you're curious about how to get involved, like how to work on your own branch, how to just work on something independently or with a small team, feel free to just watch the beginning of this video. I'm going to post it on YouTube after this session is over with. So if I go to git checkout, volunteer Search.
So I noticed there's a bunch of people that have been viewing the videos. I just started viewing them since yesterday, just to sort of like go back to some of the stuff that we were thinking about. Yeah, it looks like you're getting some views.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, they're primarily for you guys, for anyone who misses an event. I know like Tiffany hasn't been able to make it, and you know, she reached out, and it's important to her that she's able to see the stuff that she missed, because she's busy, man. Like she's going to class and she works and she's coming to this. I'm like, I don't know how you do it all, you know. So it's important to me that everybody has just the classes documented, so they can always watch back in the off chance that they do miss one of these events. And yeah, if it helps other people, that's cool too, you know. Yeah,
no, it's been really helpful for me, because it's like, I know I say a lot of things that kind of like what are you talking about? Then I think about, it's like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. It's just that like it's like all scattered, but I know what I'm saying. But anyway.
No, you're good. I remember when you first started, you were like brand new. You were a few weeks
like
in.
I barely could speak.
Yeah, you're learning really fast, so that's really cool. We do have like 10 minutes left, so we won't jump into the MVC now, but let me just show you where I shared it so everyone can have a chance to check it out. So if you go to the O1 Software Network GitHub page, I added bootcamp notes. So I'll go ahead and post it in the chat so everybody can access this code.
Are you active on that? Like, is that pretty updated? Your GitHub is pretty updated, I'm assuming.
I do more coding than pushing to GitHub for sure. Like a lot of the coding I'm doing is not on GitHub. It's just like,
oh,
yeah, it's just my own stuff that I'm working on. But yeah, I'm a little active there for sure.
Okay, cool. Because then I'll just follow you.
Cool. I'll follow you back. Yeah, so check out the Bootcamp Notes project. We're gonna review that tomorrow. I'd say we'll dig into it a little bit more. I'll answer questions, and by the end of the week, either probably Thursday this week or Monday next week, I'll share the other project depending on how quickly people are comprehending and understanding this notes MVC architecture. As long as people are starting to grasp it and understand how everything is wired together, the structure, the organization, how everything is communicating, that sort of thing, then I'll go ahead and share the other MVC. Then we'll start talking about how to integrate MVC into our project. But yeah, and then if there's anything specific that people want to work on, like I know T was like, hey, are we going to do that thing with the map? Yes, like that's part of this feature. We're going to go ahead and we're going to have that custom Google Maps map done before we integrate this project in with the main branch. Jan asked a couple questions as far as like responsiveness and accessibility. Yes, we want to make sure that people who have screen readers are able to navigate the website just as easily as people who aren't using screen readers and don't need those accessibility tools. So that's going to be, we're going to make sure that's all set up before we merge this feature in with the main branch. So slowly but surely, just a little bit at a time.
Jim, what theme are you using in Visual Studio?
Which what?
What theme are you using in Visual Studio Code?
Theme?
Theme.
Let me see. Good question. Workbench color theme, right? Dark modern.
Dark modern what? Dark modern theory?
Yeah, just dark modern.
Dark modern. Cool. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I heard that it's good to have your screens like darkened because it's light on the eyes.
Until you go outside in the sunlight, and then in the daytime you're like, I can't see. Like, then I turn on the light theme.
Exactly.
True.
Everything's great, but until it's daylight.
True.
Yeah, too much screen time is just like, I don't know how we do it.
One thing, Jim, I want to ask about like, the quality of your microphone. Like, are you just using your laptop, or like what microphone are you using?
I bought like a decent little. Have you ever heard of Focusrite?
No, what style is it? Is it like a clip-on on your shirt, or is it like a boom style? Like, what kind is it?
No, it's a condenser microphone. So I got like,
Okay.
yeah, I got a Focusrite audio interface with the condenser microphone, and then
Okay.
yeah.
Because I hear T's voice really well, like very, very well, but yours is like, it's kind of soft. So I don't know if it's like your microphone or it's the distance from it or whatever.
Oh, maybe it's the distance from it. I think if I turn up the input like this, it's a lot clearer now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Was it the gain or something?
Yeah, I'm just turning up, yeah, the mic volume.
Oh, much better.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm ever too quiet or too loud, just let me know, because sometimes I adjust it when I'm not in the meetings.
Yeah. And then what kind of are you looking like a video? What kind of webcam are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Sony Z2 or Z11. I don't know exactly. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that one for sure.
Yeah, another thought. I've done this in the past. You can use an old DSLR camera, like photographers would use, as a webcam. And I've done that. It's just some software you just download and add. And then the difference between like that and like a Logitech webcam is like huge. It's like night and day difference. But that's like if you really want like a really nice high quality, camera.
Yeah. I'm like, man, if I'm gonna buy a camera, it's gonna be a good one. You get what you pay for. So.
Yeah, because I had like Olin lying around, and then I tried it out from Canon, and I'm like, wow, because like, the image sensor is huge compared to a webcam. So you got all the surface area to capture light.
Yeah. I would love it if everybody is sharing their screens eventually. I know I haven't actually picked one out yet, so. But we have a couple people sharing every once in a while, so I like seeing people's faces. Honestly, I'm gonna make that purchase soon.
Yeah, and soon once I get my setup going, I'll be sure putting mine on soon.
Cool.
Okay, I'd like to ask a question since we're talking about equipment. So you told me sometimes you're getting feedback, so I bought the Boss headphone.
Yes.
Okay, but the Q45, it's like $250, but for the mic, right? For the mic, do you know if the Boss headset has a mic that you can attach to the headset?
Not positive.
Yeah, I've been trying to reach them. I can't reach them.
Yeah.
So I bought the fine microphone, but in the new NI computers, it only has one input on the front. All the inputs are on the back, and since I'm handicapped, it's very hard for me to get to the back of the computer. So I'm looking for a mic for the headset.
Yeah, if you have the headset, it'll probably help a lot because you're one of the people that when you're unmuted, I hear a lot of background noise.
Yeah, that's because I need to use the headset because my computer is attached to a TV monitor, a 68-inch monitor.
Yeah.
A sound system, Sony sound system. It's like a $2,000 sound system, and it's very loud.
Yeah.
I can't dim it. There's no way to dim it. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask some equipment.
Yeah, for sure. We're about to hop into the data structure algorithm channel and solve a couple problems together for those who want to join right there. But yeah, for those who joined tonight, thank you for attending. I appreciate all of y'all, and feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Yeah, another great night. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming. Have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you all soon.
Okay. Bye.
Hey, Jim.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm just sorry I wasn't able to get a hold of you a few days ago. It's just I've been working as well, and I've been doing 12 hours and my terabyte stuff.
12 hours? 12-hour days?
Yeah, 12-hour days doing what?
Holy moly. What are you doing 12-hour days for?
Well, it's income that I have to do.
True.
My $1,000 and get out of debt.
Yeah, I get that. Are you still making time to solve data structure and algorithm problems?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's just that little hiccup of that terabyte drive crapping out just really set me back a little. Years of information dead.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have a forensics guy I'm gonna talk to tomorrow, so that's.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, we'll give everyone just a few minutes to pop in here before we get started, and then we will get to it, though. I know Fernando...
So what's been going on with the data structures on your end? What new stuff have you found out? What new methods and ways of tackling the problem have you discovered?
Oh, man. So I've basically been focusing entirely on the boot camp, to be honest with you. I haven't had any time to actually do data structure algorithm problems. Tonight is the first night that I actually solved the easy problem. And then I'm trying to find some time to finish this hard problem I was working on, but I'm just focused entirely on getting this boot camp up and running and running smoothly and stuff like that. So, but I also understand the importance of data structures and algorithms. Like, it helps you really think through problems and understand how to think logically about this stuff for people who are struggling to code or like understand code, understand web development, understand software. Like, data structure algorithms is definitely the way to go. And also just understanding computer science in general, because you can't go anywhere in the world of computer science without encountering data structures and algorithms. Everything is data structures and algorithms. And not even just in computer science, like in the real world. I walk into a Starbucks and I see like data structures and algorithms, not like real data structure and algorithms, but like a coffee machine is a structure that produces coffee, and there are rules.
Oh, you can't just stop seeing it everywhere now.
I'm just saying, yeah, there's rules built into it, and if the rules are written correctly and the structures are built correctly, like, you could create this cup of coffee. Like, yeah, so I'm seeing like not data structures, but just like structures and algorithms, regardless of what it is. You look at a house, there's structures, and algorithms, so yeah, you do start to see it everywhere, but it's cool, man. Yeah, I think it really helps. One of the best things was just like teaching me more how to think in general, deductive reasoning, solve problems step by step, so I recommend it for everybody. I wish I could have more time for it, but
yeah. I mean, you kind of see the little bits of the setup to it, defining all of it, and then you see, this is a heap question, this is a stack question, this is kind of a tree question. I can do this, I can maneuver that, I can switch around this.
Yeah.
You just sound like a professional when you manage to just do it with such a good flow.
Yeah. I think the hardest part is just articulating these complex solutions in a simple way. That's the hardest part. Because I have a solution for one of the hard problems that I want to share with everybody, but I try to explain it just out loud, and I'm like, I just can't. I can't say it simply yet. I can't describe it to new people yet in a way where they'll understand it. So.
Oh yeah. You just explain it, and you go into the small little details, and then it just explodes into something super complicated.
Yeah, it becomes complicated. We'll go ahead and get started, though.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and pull up the easy problem for the day. Actually, had a little time to solve this one, so that was nice. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we will hop right to it. So let me pull up the code. We are DSA code. All right, cool. So I have this here. All right, so basically what I did here was I always create my test cases in C too. Like creating the test cases in the main function is just like almost like a problem in itself. But let's go ahead and take a look at the problem. So the easy problem today is number of unequal triplets in an array. You're given a 0-indexed array of positive integers nums, so they're all going to be positive. Find the number of triplets, I, j, and k, that meet the following conditions. J has to be greater than I, and k always has to be greater than j, and they all have to be in between 0 and the length of the array. So they have to be within the bounds of the array. Nums I, nums j, and nums k are pairwise distinct. So that means that they are not equal to each other.
Wait. Just looking at that, how can you visualize that many iterations, that many for loops, and having it iterate over and over and over again?
Just doing it in the past. I think just experience of doing it in the past. Yeah, because I remember the first time I did a triple nested for loop, I think I was with Omar, and it was just so hard for... Actually, it wasn't a triple nested for loop. It was a matrix. We were iterating over a matrix, and it was just like really hard for me to wrap my head around. And yeah, I think it's just experience and actually walking through the code line by line. So just slowing it down, debugging it, and moving forward just one step at a time. And literally, like, there's times where when I don't understand an algorithm, I'll walk through it step by step. So, like, if I'm like, all right, the first for loop is I, so I equals 0. And then I enter the second for loop. That's j. J equals I plus 1, right? So I'm going to initialize that. And then k, we go into this one. K is j plus 1, so 2. And then I'm like, they need to all be different. So I'll be like, nums I equals 4. Nums j equals 4. And nums k equals 2. And then I'm like, okay, so nums I does not equal nums j. Actually, it does equal it, so we're not going to increment the count. We're actually just going to increment k. So I'll change k to 3, and now k equals 4. So I literally just walk through a problem and write down all the variables one by one and change them one by one as I work through this. And then I'll go ahead and do it again. Like nums I does not equals nums j. Yes, it does equal it actually. So we're gonna just pop out of this and we're gonna increment k again. So now we're on 4. So now k, nums k equals 3. And then I'm like, all right, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on the last one. Now we go back to j. So j was 1, now it's 2, and k is starting at j plus 1, so 3. So now nums I is still equal to 4. Nums j is equal to 2. And nums k is equal to 4. And so I'm like, okay, same thing. I check nums I versus nums j. They are different, so we could check nums I versus nums k. Nums I, nums k, they are the same, so we break out, we don't increment. Then I go ahead and increment k again to 4. Like, it's very tedious, you know? So now I see nums I is 4, nums j is 2, nums k is 3. And then I check nums I and nums j, they're not equal. Nums I and nums k are not equal. nums j and nums k are not equal. So now count was 0, but now count is 1 because I finally encountered 3 that are not equal. And then
So that's the methodology that you need to do. Just be patient and just iterate through each one of them one at a time.
slow way down. Just slow yourself way down. Man, I come from sales management and business development. Like, I'm just used to talking to people, interacting with people. I'm go, go, go. I want to get things going. The thing that helped me just slow way down and really understand this stuff was walking through it step by step. And it was so hard in the beginning. It was so hard because it was just not who I am. I had to force myself to really slow down and walk through it and understand how the variables are changing. Like, I had to understand the mechanics. And when you slow way down and walk through it, when I first started slowing down and walking through these problems step by step, I'll be like halfway through and this would be like 6 and I'd be like, wait, how is this 6? There's no 6. What? And I'll be making mistakes and then I would just start all over. I'd be like, all right, 0, 1, 2, this stuff. And I would start from scratch again and I would just do it again. And then you get better and better and then eventually you start seeing the same patterns over and over. And it becomes easier where you don't actually have to draw it out step by step every single time anymore. But if you want to move from like, I just don't understand this stuff to, oh, I'm actually starting to understand this stuff, you have to walk through it step by step. That's just my opinion. That's how it worked for me. It might be different. Does anyone else have any different experience with their learning experience for this kind of stuff? Any advice on the best way to learn and really understand the mechanisms? Not everybody all at
like,
once.
It's like breaking down the problem into small chunks, understanding, and always go for like the simplest solution, the naive solution, and then think about like going for a better solution.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, so this is my solution here. Triple nested for loop. The only reason I did this was because you could see the length of the array is between 3 and 100. So it's O of n cubed space and O of 1 space. O of n cubed time and O of 1 space. And yeah, I created a couple extra test cases just to make sure, and yeah, they all passed. So I did see another solution in C++ and Python by someone else that had a mathematical solution I found pretty interesting. I don't remember it now though, but it looked pretty cool. Did anyone else solve the easy one? Or want to share it? Or do you have the same solution just in a language besides C? So everyone could see that syntax as well.
Yeah, I did the easy one. I did in Java, but like, I mean, it's not like completely different. I mean, it's pretty much the same.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can show it. Let me like share my screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. Like 3 for loops. Like, I mean, basically you need to see like how many pointers you need to decide the number of for loops. So when it comes to triplets, it's basically you need at least 3 pointers in a single condition to check. So I, j, and k. So whenever there are 3 pointers, those many for loops you would need. So that's how you decide like the number of for loops you. And the visualization is better to do it in this way. Like, you know, that I would be start with 0, j would start with I plus 1, and k would start with j plus 1. Or else you could do like 2 as, I mean, it would actually be like j plus 1, yeah, right? Just like 1 after j. And then like you can see like where it is stopping. So for ultimately your I would like first one to reach the end would be j variable because j is ahead. So since j is ahead, you need to check in such a way that I should be at least two spaces behind. Otherwise it would like let's say if I was like here, then you can see j would be out of bounds. So for j to for sorry k would be out of bounds. So for k to not be out of bound, k should be at the last position. Now since k is at the last position, so j should be at least one position behind it, and I should be at least one position behind j. That's how you kind of stop the loop. So that's how the ending condition would be. And then yeah, that's it. And then once you have decided the loop, the condition is pretty simple, and then return the count. That's it.
Cool. Looking good. Looks like we have a couple new people. Kevin. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Bubblina? I'm guessing that's your real name.
Hey, sorry, I came a little bit late. So I missed out a little bit on the beginning of the first problem. But
Oh.
yeah, I'm just here to follow along.
Cool. Yeah, you're good. Thanks for joining.
Hi, I'm just kind of watching along here, following along. I was planning on going to something else, but then realized that wasn't happening, so I kind of decided to go to this later on. So I didn't completely solve any of the problems yet, but I'm here to learn what I can, and would like to come to a lot of these in the future.
Awesome. Cool. Welcome. How long you been coding? What language do you use?
I did like a coding boot camp to get into the field, and then I was like an associate software developer at a bigger company, and then but they wanted me on some projects that I'd have to relocate across the US to go on, and so I had to reject those, and they didn't like that. So I'm looking for my next software development job now, and I guess I know like Java, Ruby, Spring for like back-end stuff, for front-end stuff I know React, Angular, that sort of thing.
Cool. Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
What about you, Bubblina? Do you want me to call you Bubblina or?
Yeah, you can call me whatever, Bubblina. My real name is Joey. My government name Josephine. But yeah, I've been working for about like I think it was like a year and a half now. I work in defense contracting, and languages I know like a lot of them from college. In college I used a lot of Python, C, and then for work I use more so like just JavaScript and stuff like that, and a little bit of AWS services as well. And that's all. So
Nice.
I'm just trying to get here to like brush up on my algorithms. I haven't done anything like that since like college. So yeah.
Cool. Welcome. All right, so we'll move on to problem number 2. So for the people who are new too, let me just go ahead and share my screen so y'all know how we do this. In the beginning of the day, let me know if you can't see my screen. In the beginning of the day, I go ahead and post problems in the problems of the day channel. So you can see this morning, I posted an easy, a medium, and 2 hards. Typically, we cover the easy and the medium at least. I think we only covered the hard once. We just started doing this recently. So, yeah. And then if you have time during the day to solve any of the problems, you go ahead and just solve as many as you can, and then we meet here and share solutions. So, pretty straightforward. Cool. So, did anyone solve the medium?
I mean, I just came across the medium problem, but it's very difficult to understand. You can see even like they have like negative votes as well. You can see the problem has like many downvotes. So that way I usually like I mean that's what I've like went through different tutorial videos. They say that when there are like too many downvotes, basically the problem which lead code mentioned is not clear. So I didn't understand the problem properly. Like, they're like they haven't properly explained like the top left and the bottom right, I think. But if someone has understood, then it's better. They can show. But I didn't understand
You
it.
know what? You're right, and I need to look at this when I'm choosing problems from now on, because only 112 people gave thumbs up, 194 gave thumbs down. So that's
Yeah.
just, you could say that's usually an indication.
I mean, there are problems where the problem description is like you don't understand anything, and then there are like so many downvotes for that problem, and like it's very weird the way they explain the problem. But like I'm not sure. I still reading it. I'm still not able to understand like clearly. Like 50% I understood, but like less 50% I'm not still clear with the top
Yeah.
left and bottom right.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna try to be aware of that moving forward. Did anyone solve that though?
I'm sorry. Where did you post the questions?
Just right above where we are right now, problems of the day.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, so it looks like tonight might be an earlier session then. I only had a chance to solve the easy one today.
Jim, I was like suggesting one more thing.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not sure if that would be a better thing, but instead of like giving one easy, one medium, and two hard, it would be better to like give like one easy, two medium, and one hard. I mean, the thing is then we could solve actually three, because like that's what I noticed, that we just basically solved the first two, and the hard one, like even if we have solved it, like it would be difficult to, it won't have much time to explain that problem. It's better to like give like one easy, two medium, and one hard, so you can, there is, I mean, there are chances of presenting all, like first, at least first three problems in one core as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was only doing the hards from the contests because they were the most recent, but yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So starting tomorrow, I'll go ahead. I'll post one easy, two mediums, and one hard, and I'll make sure that they have more thumbs up, a lot more thumbs up than they have thumbs down, because those are usually the more clear problem descriptions as well. So cool. Yeah, I do have the solution to one of the hard ones, but I'm just not able to really communicate it simply yet. I don't. Yeah, I just want to go through it a little bit more so that when I do communicate it to everybody, that it's clear, concise, easy, has some visuals, that sort of thing. Fernando, how did you do? Did you do the easy or medium at all?
Yeah, I did the easy and the medium one, but the medium one I just go. I think it's just difficult to explain. I saw it, but it's like with brute force. I'm starting just calculating for each cell the diagonals, and yeah, it's like just it's like two while loops that I did. Probably I can share my solution, but it's a little complicated. I was more focused on the first one because I tried to solve with using material stuff and permutations, but yeah, so
Yeah, first one actually, even I tried to do it like within n square, but I was getting stuck somewhere. Like, I mean, like I wanted to try to at least do it using n square instead of n cube, like using some kind of just variable track to like previously like basically check the frequency of the values which have already
yeah,
occurred,
you
and then use that frequency to basically count total.
yeah you can do that with combinatorial and factorial stuff.
Okay.
yeah, I was trying to do that. Also, you can just use some kind of equation, and yeah, you can solve. Probably there's some similar problem with more. I mean, more than 100 values. Yeah.
Did you solve with the same method as Aditya and me, Fernando?
Yeah.
The for loop?
Yeah, the n cube solution.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and
yeah, I was just trying to find a way with the combinatorial, but I found a way when all the elements are distinct. I mean, just one each element just has one frequency. I mean, it's unique. Like there are the size of the array is 5, so there must be 5 different numbers. So in that case, it's just combinatorial and 5 and 5 3. I mean something like.
Oh, you're thinking from that Python perspective, combinatorics, I think.
Yeah. It's like
Okay, yeah.
5 and 3. So that's going to be your solution if all elements are different and your size of the array is 5 elements. Yeah, if you have 5 elements. And so
And then you handle the duplicates basically by like reducing those many count, right?
Yeah. It's like something. Your solution is going to be just something like this, but just if the elements are different, if all the elements are different and unique.
To NC3, yeah, right.
Yeah, if you have repetitions, so that changed this rule. So yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to reduce that.
Yeah. There's got to be some type of patterns in there as well too, like based on the number of elements that are inside of the array. Like if there's 3 elements inside of the array, the maximum you're ever going to be able to get is 1, like a count of 1. But if there's 4, the maximum you're going to be able to get is a count of 3. If there's 5, the maximum you're going to be able to get is what, like a count of 10 or something. So there's definitely a pattern, and then based on the number of repeats, you should be able to figure out. There's got to be some type of formula if you actually like draw it out.
There is a concept called as permutations and combinations. It's basic math. So it's basically there are like 10 chairs assigned, like n numbers given. Like how many combinations you can find if I have to choose only three values from those n values, like how many combinations can be formed. Now that doesn't handle duplicates. Now when duplicate comes, basically you consider that duplicate value as one single value. It's something like that.
So you remove that from the
And
total
then
permutation.
you handle the duplicates from the combinations which you have created. You need to consider that all are distinct and then handle the duplicates, something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, so I guess since the medium that was chosen today is just a kind of crappy problem, and no one's ready to share the hards today, we saw a couple of solutions for the easy. What I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to choose 1 easy, 2 mediums, and a hard. And I'm going to make sure that they have good ratings across the board. And yeah, there should be a longer meeting. It should be more engaging, and we'll be able to see a lot more solutions. So, no sweat.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.
See you.
Yeah, Jim, I honestly want to see more of the methods and just how you think of how to do all of this, because the methodology is gold, really.
Yeah. I'd say you're like newer to it, right?
Well, I just don't understand the methodology of how they all do it. it's just like magic. Bam, they do it right away. It's the objections I have against natural-born talent. They can't teach.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not natural born. It's gonna take lots of hard work, practice, repetition before you start getting it. Trust me, we've been doing this for a long time, and even still, like the best I ever did on the contest was solving a couple mediums. You know, I never even solved the hard one on the competition. I've actually only solved like 3 hard ones in my life, so yeah, it's gonna be a grind if you actually want to get good at this stuff. Fernando knows. Fernando's been here doing these problems as well. It's just every week, you know. Every single week, never taking a week off, just grinding out every single week for over a year. You know, we've been solving problems together for a long time, so you definitely got to grind out. Have you seen Neat Code, that website, before?
Neat Code or Leak Code?
Neat Code.
Oh, I haven't seen Neat Code.
Let me give you that link, because this is really good for people who are newer. This is like really good.
Yeah, linked list. Oh man, that was so hard when I did it.
Yeah, this gives you a roadmap, so it allows you to kind of like walk through. Yeah, so let me go ahead and give you this link. And
Well, you know how to contact me, right?
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it to you in a message right here. There you go. And I posted in the chat too, so everyone else has access to it.
Nice.
But yeah, that's really good. So check that out, explore it, do your best to understand it. He's really good for like people who are newer to it, so I think you'll really like that. And then Fernando, do you have any resources as far as for newer people besides Leak Code? When I first started doing it, I just stuck with the easy problems. If you're looking at my screen, basically the way I did it was I would go to the problem list. So I'd go to problems.
Always scared of doing hard problems until you get forced out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So go to problems and then click on acceptance. Sort by acceptance. So the ones that show up at the top are the ones that are the most accepted. So like this one right here, return length of arguments passed. You can see write a function, arguments length, that returns the count of arguments passed to it. So you could literally just see like this one has 1 argument. This one has 3 arguments. It's just like it's basically saying like what's the length of the array.
Oh yeah.
You know, so if you sort by acceptance, then the ones that are the most accepted are going to be at the top. So these are the easiest ones out of all of them. And then just work your way from the most accepted all the way down, just doing one at a time. And if you ever encounter one where you just don't know how to work through it, just go to solutions. And they have like tons of different solutions. Type like JavaScript, and then you get all the solutions.
Well, I know that you can't just look through the solution and just solve the problem. You actually have to put in a little bit more effort and just say, why is that the correct one?
Yeah, no, I look at solutions. How are you supposed to know unless you know?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to see it. Someone has to show you. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like guessing for a year. You know, like you have to see it. But I wouldn't say just look at one solution. I would say like look at 3 solutions at least. If you're gonna look at the answer to a problem, look at 3 solutions so you can see it done in 3 different ways. You know.
And then just understand, well, you have to do it one at a time, think about it, and just iterate. Oh, man. It's just... And then you go into those log type of linear problems where you just have the log of O and just... Oh, you have to separate it into trees and just do it for optimization purposes, and then just make sure that it's all in a data structure that you never even known to figure out before, and you have to look at the W3 schools and just figure out how that data structure works.
Yeah, I wouldn't even use W3 schools for data structures. I've never used that once.
Really?
No, never. Not for data structures.
What do you use for data structures? ChatGPT?
No. When I first was like newer, maybe like a few months in, I used. So there's one course that I did on Udemy that was really helpful. Let me see if I could find it. It was this one here. I actually started going through it again because I really liked it.
You went to Udemy to figure that out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, data structures and algorithms in C, and he's a really good teacher. And then also, if you go to Free Code Camp on YouTube, so freecodecamp.org, and then look at playlists, and there is should be I don't think that's actually the one. Maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Graph theory algorithms, that was a really good one. And then, yeah. So they have some good ones on Free Code Camp too. But yeah, that's what I would do. This guy's good. If you could do it in C, you could do it in any language, really.
Oh, C's just so very punishing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, hence the reason I'm doing my stuff in C right now is just for the workout, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so explore those resources right there. And then, yeah, I'm sure you'll be in the boot camp tomorrow too, right? 6 to 9. And then we'll meet back here. Try to at least solve the easy one. Give it a couple shots. And if you can't solve it, look at a few different solutions. That way, even if you don't solve it on your own, you could use someone else's solution and you could share someone else's solution. So you could begin articulating the solution. Because if you could articulate the solution, you understand the solution. So even if it's not yours,
when I articulate it, it won't be like Stack Overflow and just bash me into existence and just say, "How dare you speak?"
Nah, you'll be good. You'll be good. Just practice before you come, and then just be prepared to share, and then that's an accomplishment right there. You'll get a little bit better just from explaining it to everybody, even if it's a solution we already saw. So.
Oh, I thought you meant explaining it in the actual comment box.
No, explaining it just in this meeting tomorrow.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that. I'll work out.
All right, cool.
I'll tell you what I've figured out.
Awesome. Cool. Alrighty, everybody. Have a good night. I will see y'all tomorrow.